My day starts as it always does. A kiss from Marie, the smell of coffee brewing, Tommy's laughter echoing from upstairs. Life is predictable in the best way possible. I'm a financial analyst, usually buried in numbers and market trends, but today feels different, lighter somehow. Marie's been more affectionate lately, and Tommy, well, he's always been the kind of kid who makes parenting look easy. Our house, a quaint two-story in the suburbs, reflects our life together. Orderly, bright, welcoming. Marie's touch is in every detail, from the neatly lined spices in the kitchen to the cozy throw blankets draped over our living room couch. As I grab my briefcase and peck Marie on the cheek, she gives me a look that still makes my heart skip after 10 years, playful and a bit mysterious. The morning progresses smoothly, almost too smoothly. I'm in the middle of a meeting when my phone vibrates aggressively. Seeing the school's number flash on the screen, I excuse myself and answer, expecting to hear about a forgotten lunch or a school project. Instead, the principal's voice, usually calm and measured, carries an urgency that tightens my stomach. "Mr. Harper, there's been a bit of an incident with Tommy," she says, and I'm suddenly aware of how small the conference room feels. He's not in trouble, but he's quite upset. We think it's best if someone comes to pick him up. I agree without hesitation, my mind racing through possibilities, bullies, a fall, a failed test, none of which explain the gravity in her tone. The drive to the school is torturously slow, each red light a prolonged heartbeat. When I finally pull into the school parking lot, I see Tommy sitting on a bench, his small frame hunched, his hands covering his face. As I approach, he looks up, his eyes red and swollen. The sight of him breaking like that grips my chest like a vice. "Dad," he whispers, and there's a tremor in his voice that sets off alarm bells in my head. I crouch in front of him, my hands on his shoulders, needing to understand, to fix whatever's broken. "What happened, buddy? You can tell me. It's okay." Tommy glances around, as if checking for eavesdroppers, before leaning in. His next words come out in a rush, a whispered confession that splits the foundation of my world right down the middle. "I walked into your bedroom, and I saw Mom on her knees in front of some man. He told me if I told anyone, he'd end me." The air seems to thin, my breast becoming shallow. How do you respond when your son, the person you'd destroy worlds to protect, tells you something that shatters the very core of your existence? Everything, the kisses, the laughter, the affectionate looks, feels like a lie, a cruel joke at my expense. As Tommy clings to me, sobbing into my shirt, I hold him, my mind a whirlwind of rage and protectiveness. I need to do something, anything to shield him from more harm. I need to confront this, confront her, but above all, I need to keep my son safe. My thoughts churn with dark promises of revenge, the edges of my world blurring into a singular focus. This betrayal won't go unanswered. Not now, not ever. As I drive away from the school, my mind spins uncontrollably. Tommy is silent beside me, staring out the window, small and withdrawn. I grip the steering wheel tighter, focusing on the road but seeing nothing. A cacophony of emotions rages inside me, disbelief and fury battling for dominance. My Marie, on her knees before another man? Impossible. And yet, Tommy has never lied to me. Not about anything that mattered. When we reach home, I usher Tommy inside and kneel before him, my eyes searching his. "Tommy, buddy, I need you to tell me everything. Can you do that?" His nod is hesitant, his eyes wide and fearful. As he recounts the scene, describing how he'd forgotten his lunchbox and returned home to retrieve it, each word etches a painful scar across my heart. The detail of his mother's betrayal, her hurried whispers of assurance to the stranger as Tommy stumbled upon them. It's all too vivid, too vile. After Tommy retreats to his room, numbness sets in. I wander through the empty house, each room echoing with the remnants of a life I thought I knew. The living room where we watched movies as a family, the kitchen where Marie cooked our meals, all tainted now. But it's our bedroom that feels most alien, a sanctuary desecrated by her deceit. My phone feels heavy as I dial my friend Rick's number. He answers on the second ring, his voice a lifeline in the tempest. "John? Everything okay?" No, Rick, it's not. I hesitate, the words tasting like bile. I need your help. It's Marie. I can't finish the sentence. The reality too raw, too harsh. Rick's response is immediate, decisive. I'm on my way. He's a private investigator, an old college buddy who's helped me out of tight spots before. But this is different. When Rick arrives, his face is grim, understanding. We retreat to my study, a room untouched by the chaos, and I spill everything, the words tumbling out in a torrent of hurt and anger. Rick listens, nodding, his brow furrowed. You sure about this, John? Revenge is a tricky path. I've never been more sure of anything, I reply, my voice cold, distant even to my own ears. We hatch a plan, meticulous and cold. Surveillance first. Rick has contacts, resources. If Marie is seeing someone else, we'll find out everything about him. As Rick outlines the technical details, cameras, trackers, software, my stomach churns. This is real. I'm plotting against my wife. But then I see Tommy's face in my mind, his tears, and my resolve hardens. Over the next few days, the trap is set. Cameras discreetly placed, her phone and car bugged. The waiting is the hardest part, each day stretching long and taut with anticipation. I watch Marie, looking for signs, any hint of the woman I married in her movements. But all I see is a stranger. The evidence piles up, each piece a blow. Texts, calls, clandestine meetings, and him, a name, a face, Mark Davidson, an investment banker, smooth and polished, with a smirk I itch to wipe off his face. Their rendezvous, always when I'm supposed to be at work, the lies so blatant, so hurtful. One evening I confront her. It's just us in the kitchen, the air thick with tension. Marie, we need to talk. She turns, a flicker of fear in her eyes. John, what's wrong? Stop, I snap, the images of her betrayal flashing before my eyes. I know about him, about you and Mark. The color drains from her face. She stammers, a pathetic string of denials and pleas. But I'm beyond listening. How could you? My voice breaks, the pain raw and all-consuming. She reaches out, touching my arm. John, I pull away, repulsed. Don't. Just don't. My heart is a block of ice. We're done, Marie. I'll make sure of it. Leaving her sobbing in the kitchen, I retreat to my study, the weight of my wedding ring suffocating. I pull it off, the metallic clink as it hits the desk, sounding like a final verdict. That night I lie awake, the ghost of my former life haunting the shadows of the room. The plan Rick and I devised grows darker, fueled by my relentless, burning anger. It's no longer just about knowing or exposing. It's about making him pay, making them both pay for the carnage they've caused. By morning, my decision is made. The next steps of my revenge are clear, each one detailed and precise. Rick gets the call just after dawn. It's time to escalate, I tell him, my voice steady, devoid of the man who loved too much, trusted too freely. He won't see it coming. Rick doesn't argue, doesn't caution me this time. Perhaps he sees the resolve in my voice, or maybe he too believes in the righteousness of my cause. As I set the phone down, a new day dawns, cold and unforgiving. But within me, a fire rages, uncontainable and fierce. My path is set, my course irrevocable. The man who walked into that school to pick up his son is gone. In his place is someone else, someone hardened by betrayal and honed by vengeance. I am ready. Every day I watch the footage. The monitors light up my dim office, casting a spectral glow. Images of Marie and Mark together burn into my retinas, each one a betrayal, each one a wound that refuses to heal. This is no longer just about infidelity. This is an invasive cancer in my life, a systematic destruction of every good memory I cherished with her. Rick and I huddle over the screens late into the night, compiling timelines, tracking their movements. It becomes evident that Mark is not just a casual fling. His presence is woven intricately into my absence, a shadow filling in whenever I'm not there. His sleek car, a high-end BMW, is a frequent visitor in our driveway, a brazen assertion of his place in my life. One evening, as I scrutinize the footage, I spot a different scene. Mark's not just a rich banker, he's connected, dangerous even. He meets with known criminals, exchanges that reek of illicit deals and laundered cash. My stomach churns. This isn't just about a cheating spouse. It's darker, deeper. With each discovery, my resolve hardens. I can't let this stand, not just for my sake, but for Tommy's. How can I let such a man roam free, potentially endangering my son? The stakes are higher than I ever imagined. I confront Marie again. This time, it's more than just the betrayal. It's about the danger she's brought to our doorstep. Who is he, Marie? Really? Because he's not just your lover. There's more, and you know it. Marie pales, her eyes darting away, avoiding mine. John, it's not what you think. Don't insult me further, I snap. He's involved in things, dangerous things, and you've brought that into our home, to our son. She breaks down, sobbing, her whole body shaking. I didn't know at first, and when I did, it was too late. I was scared, John. Her fear might be genuine, but it does little to temper my anger. It does, however, steer my actions. This is beyond us now, beyond mere revenge. I have to protect what's left of my family. The next phase of the plan is more drastic. Rick gets a trace on Mark's other activities. We can't touch him openly, too risky with his connections. But there's another way. We decide to strike at his assets, a message that even he can't ignore. One night, under the cover of darkness, I follow him to his secluded hideout, a swanky apartment in a posh part of the city. The same BMW is parked outside, and I feel a surge of vindictive satisfaction knowing what's about to happen. I slip out of my car, dressed in black, a can of gasoline heavy in my hand. The streets are deserted, the night air cool on my skin, the silence a stark contrast to the storm raging inside me. Pouring the gasoline is methodical, each splash a catharsis, each fume a whisper of impending chaos. When I light the match, the flame seems to flicker with my pulse. Erratic and angry, I throw it, and the fire erupts with a whoosh, a beast awakening. I watch just long enough to see the car become engulfed. Then I'm back in my car, the heat of the blaze at my back, an echo of the burning in my veins. The news hits the next day. Arson suspected in high-end car fire. No suspects, no leads, just questions. Mark's face when he sees the charred remains of his BMW is everything I hoped for, a mix of shock and fear. He knows this wasn't an accident. He's being targeted, and though he doesn't know it's me, the message is clear. But with the fire, the stakes change. Threats start coming in, vague but ominous. Someone's protecting Mark, and they're not happy about my interference. I've stirred a hornet's nest, and the buzzing is getting louder, closer. Rick warns me we might have gone too far, but there's no turning back now. I've crossed a line, and there's only forward. Meanwhile, Tommy stays with my sister, away from the chaos. I visit him, trying to shelter him from the storm I've created. His hugs are desperate, clinging, and each goodbye is harder than the last. "When are you coming home, Daddy?" his small voice asks every time. "Soon, buddy, soon," I promise, a lump in my throat. At home, the silence is a vast, empty space. Marie has moved out, staying with a friend. The house feels like a shell, hollow and echoing with the ghosts of our past life. At night, the darkness is thick, heavy with threats and fears. But it's in this darkness that my resolve is forged anew. I prepare for the next step, unaware of how deep I've already gone, how much deeper I am willing to go to end this, to feel safe again. The game has changed. It's no longer just about a cheating wife in a home broken. It's about survival, about protecting the only innocent left in this twisted saga. Tommy, my son, my reason. The endgame approaches, and I am ready, come what may. The tension in my veins mirrors the charged atmosphere of the night. Everything converges tonight, the culmination of all the deceit, rage, and betrayal. It's past midnight, the streets empty, the moon a silent witness to my final move against Mark. I'm parked a block away from his apartment, the same one where I watched his life play out in illicit detail. My heart beats a relentless drum, adrenaline coursing through me, sharpening my senses. The plan is simple, yet fraught with risk. Confront Mark directly, face to face. No more shadows and surveillance. I check the revolver tucked inside my jacket. It's a heavy, cold presence against my side, a stark reminder of how far I've come from the man who kissed his wife goodbye that morning weeks ago. Now I'm someone else, someone carved out of the bedrock of vengeance. As I approach his building, every step is calculated, the weight of each decision, each action over the past weeks pressing down on me. The lobby is dimly lit, deserted at this hour. I take the stairs, not trusting the silence that an elevator ride would demand. Each flight up tightens the coil of tension within me. I reach his floor, my breath shallow and fast. Outside his door, I pause, listening. Music plays softly from within, a stark contrast to the storm raging in my heart. I ready myself, then knock sharply. The door swings open, and there he is, Mark Davidson in the flesh. His surprise lasts only a moment before his eyes harden. He recognizes me, not as Marie's husband, but as the threat I've become. "John," he starts, his voice cautious. "What do you want?" I don't bother with pleasantries. "You know why I'm here." I push past him into the apartment, my gaze taking in the opulent surroundings that my wife fell for. "It ends tonight." Mark's composure slips, his fear becoming evident. "John, listen, we can sort this out?" I cut him off, my laugh harsh, bitter. "Like you sorted my wife?" We're in his living room now, the city lights casting long shadows over us. He moves slowly, calculating. I know he's thinking of a way out, perhaps a weapon, but I'm prepared, my hand on my revolver. "Please," he tries again, his voice pleading. "I never meant for it to go this far." "You threatened my son," I state coldly, the fact alone enough to fuel my resolve. The tension spikes, the air thick with unspoken threats. Mark shifts and I react. The gun is in my hand, the metal cold and solid, an extension of my rage. "I should kill you for what you've done." Mark freezes, his eyes on the gun. "John, you're not a killer. Think about your son. Tommy." His name pierces the red haze of my anger. What am I doing? What am I becoming? But there's no turning back. Not now. "I'm calling the cops," Mark says, a desperate gambit to regain control. "You think they can help you now?" I sneer, but even as I say it, the reality of my actions crashes into me. This isn't who I am. This isn't who I want to be. The sound of sirens in the distance snaps me out of the internal tumult. Someone must have heard the commotion. Panic flares within me. This is spiraling out of control. I have to end this now. "Get out of town," I hiss at him, my voice low, menacing. "If you ever come near my family again, I won't hesitate." Mark nods, his relief palpable. He knows he's escaping with his life. As for me, I'm escaping too, from becoming something monstrous. I leave as quickly as I arrived, the gun back in its hidden place. My steps hurried, my mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. The sirens grow louder, the sound a sharp reminder of how close I came to irrevocable actions. Back in my car, I sit for a moment, the aftermath of the confrontation settling around me like dust. I'm shaking, the adrenaline fading, leaving behind a cold, hard dread in its wake. What now? What have I become? The drive home is automatic, my thoughts chaotic. When I arrive, the house is dark, silent. I go inside, my movements ghostly in the familiar space that now feels tainted, corrupted. I sit in the dark, waiting for the dawn, waiting for some sign of redemption, of hope. The trial, when it comes, will not be in a court of law, but within my own heart, the jury a parade of my own demons, my actions, my decisions. As the first light of morning filters through the windows, I understand what I need to do. The fight to protect my family isn't over, but the methods, the path I take, must change. I must rebuild, not just what was lost with Marie, but what I've torn down within myself. The phone rings, shattering the silence of the morning. It's Rick. "John, you okay?" I take a deep breath, steadying myself. "No, Rick, but I will be. It's time to end this, the right way." And so with the new day comes a new resolve. The legal battle will be hard, but necessary. I will fight for custody of Tommy, fight to keep him safe from the fallout of my actions. Marie's betrayal, Mark's threats, my own dark journey into vengeance, they will all come to light. But I will face them, not with a gun or a threat, but with the truth and the law on my side. The path to redemption is long, fraught with challenges, but as the sun rises, so does my determination to walk it, for Tommy, for myself. The climax of this ordeal leaves me isolated but resolute. The decision to end my marriage and protect my son, clearer than ever. It's a brutal realization, but necessary. The man who sought revenge is gone, replaced by a man seeking justice and peace. As the city awakes, so do I, a new man forged from the trials of the night, ready to face whatever comes with a clear mind and a hardened resolve. With the dawn breaking over the horizon, the world feels different today, less certain, yet somehow clearer in purpose. I'm standing in my kitchen, the legal papers spread out on the table. Divorce proceedings, custody arrangements, statements from my attorney. Today is about setting things right, or as right as they can be after everything that's happened. I've spent countless nights poring over the details, the legal jargon blending into a blur of sleepless worry. But today it's about action. I call my lawyer, confirming our meeting before the court session. His voice is steady, reassuring. "John, we're prepared. Just stick to the facts and let me handle the rest." I hang up and look around the now too quiet house. Each room holds a memory, some tender, others like shards of glass. I need to get out, clear my head before facing the courtroom. As I step outside, the cool air hits me, a welcome slap of reality. The walk helps, it steadies my nerves, focuses my thoughts on Tommy, on securing his future, on ensuring his stability. Back home, I take a long shower, letting the hot water wash over me, trying to cleanse away the anger, the betrayal, the hurt. Dressed, looking at myself in the mirror, I see a man changed by ordeal, eyes harder, lines deeper. Today I stand not just for myself, but for my son. In the courtroom, the air is thick with anticipation. Marie is there, looking worn, her eyes avoiding mine. Her lawyer chats with her quietly, probably offering last-minute reassurances. I can't help but feel a pang of something, regret, sorrow, loss. It's hard to define. Once we stood together, united. Now we're on opposite sides of an unbridgeable chasm. My lawyer nudges me as the judge enters. It's time. The proceedings start, a formal dance of legal phrases and procedural motions. When it's my turn to speak, my voice is firm, recounting the facts, the discovery, the pain. There's a moment when our eyes meet, Marie's and mine, and in hers I see a mix of sorrow and resignation. She knows this is the end, the final unraveling of our shared life. The judge listens, notes in hand, occasionally glancing up through her glasses. Her face gives nothing away. Beside me, my lawyer presents the evidence, the impact on Tommy, the need for a stable environment, the threats from her affair that endangered us all. When Marie speaks, her voice is soft, broken. She doesn't deny the affair, but pleads for understanding, for a chance to explain, to make things right. But some things once broken can't be mended, not fully. The court takes a recess, a pause in the proceedings that feels like a lifetime. In the hallway, I call my sister, updating her, assuring her that Tommy is oblivious to today's events, safe in school, safe from this adult wreckage. She's been my rock, keeping Tommy insulated from the chaos, providing the stability he needs. "He's doing okay, John. We're here for you both, no matter what." Back in the courtroom, the judge delivers her verdict. Custody is granted to me, the conditions of visitation set, the divorce proceedings to move forward with clarity on financial settlements and responsibilities. It's both a relief and a profound, aching loss. Leaving the courthouse, the sky seems to open up, a light drizzle falling, as if the world is weeping for what's been lost, for what's been gained. Marie walks ahead, her steps slow, defeated. She turns, her eyes meeting mine one last time, a silent message of regret, perhaps forgiveness. I nod, nothing left to say. The days that follow are a mix of relief and overwhelming responsibility. Tommy comes home, his smile a balm to my battered heart. We spend time together, just the two of us, rebuilding our routine, our relationship, our trust. I answer his questions as honestly as I can, shielding him from the worst of it, but not the truth. He needs to understand, to know why things change so drastically. One evening, as we sit watching a movie, Tommy leans against me, his presence a reminder of what I've fought for, what I've protected. "It's going to be okay, Dad," he says, his voice filled with a child's earnest belief. "Yes, buddy," I reply, my arm tightening around him. "It's going to be okay." In the quiet that follows, with only the flicker of the movie lighting the room, I reflect on the journey, the revenge that consumed me, the justice I sought, the peace I now crave. I recognize the scars will remain, but so too will the resolve to move forward, to heal, to forge a new path for Tommy and for myself. As the credits roll, Tommy asleep beside me, I understand that this is not the end, but a beginning, a difficult, painful, yet hopeful beginning. Life will go on, different, altered, yet filled with possibilities. As I carry my son to bed, his weight light in my arms, I'm reassured by the resilience of the human spirit, by my own resilience. Tonight I'll sleep, perhaps not soundly, but with a heart lighter than it's been in months. Tomorrow's a new day, and we are ready to meet it together. Months have passed since the court's verdict, and life has settled into a new rhythm, one that's both familiar and utterly transformed. The crisp autumn air is a reminder of change, a physical manifestation of the new reality Tommy and I now inhabit. The leaves turn, the days shorten, and in this shifting, I find a measure of peace. But with all transitions, there are moments of reckoning, and mine arrives on an ordinary Thursday. The school day has ended, and I'm waiting outside for Tommy. As I watch the children pour out of the school building, lost in the joy of their own little worlds, my phone vibrates. It's Marie. My heart tightens instinctively, but I answer. The decision part of this new chapter, where communication remains open, for Tommy's sake. "John, can we talk?" Her voice is hesitant, a stark contrast to the confident tone I once knew so well. "In person?" I reply, keeping my voice neutral. "Yes, please. I'll be at the old cafe where we used to go. In an hour?" The request hangs in the air, heavy with history. I agree, curiosity piqued and a sense of finality wrapping around me. After picking up Tommy, I drop him off at my sister's house, explaining that I have an important errand. His bright smile and easy acceptance of my explanation remind me of what's at stake, his well-being, our future. The cafe hasn't changed much. The same rustic decor, the same ambient buzz of quiet conversations. Marie is already there, sitting at a corner table that offers a view of the entire space. As I approach, she stands, a nerve-wracking echo of so many other times we've met here under different circumstances. "John," she greets, her voice cracking slightly. "Marie?" I nod, taking the seat opposite her. The waiter comes by, and we order coffees, old habits surfacing with ease. "I wanted to see you," she starts once we're alone again, "to apologize, not for what happened. I've done that enough, but for the pain I caused. It's taken me a long time to understand the damage, the real damage I did to you, to Tommy." Her words are sincere, each one laden with the weight of introspection. I listen, the barriers I've built up softening just a touch. "And I wanted to thank you," she continues, her eyes meeting mine, "for keeping Tommy stable, for being the father he deserves. I know it hasn't been easy." "It hasn't," I admit, the raw honesty of the moment surprising me. "But he's doing well. He's happy, adjusting." "That's good to hear," she replies, a genuine smile breaking through. "That's really good." The conversation turns to Tommy, to logistical details, to future arrangements. It's civil, constructive, but beneath it all is a shared history, a depth of experience that both connects and divides us. As we part, Marie reaches out, her hand brushing mine. "Take care, John. Really." I nod, feeling a closure I hadn't expected. "You too, Marie." Leaving the cafe, the cool air feels invigorating, cleansing. I drive back to my sister's house, my thoughts swirling. The meeting, though painful, was necessary. It was a step towards understanding, towards forgiveness. Not forgetting, but forgiving for my sake, for Tommy's. The following weeks are filled with the normalcy of single parenthood. School events, soccer games, weekend movie nights. Tommy thrives, his resilience a constant source of pride and relief. Watching him sleep one night, a profound sense of duty settles over me. I've been given a second chance to mold his world, to ensure it's filled with love and security. As the season changes again, bringing with it the first snowfall, Tommy and I decorate our home for Christmas, a tradition that feels both old and new. As we hang ornaments, Tommy's laughter fills the space, a sound so pure it heals bits of me I hadn't realized were still broken. On Christmas Eve, as we sit by the fire, sipping hot chocolate, Tommy looks up at me with serious eyes. "Dad, are you happy?" he asks, his voice tinged with a child's concern. I pull him close, feeling the warmth of his presence, the greatest gift I've received. "I am, buddy. I really am." "Are you?" "Yeah, Dad. I'm really happy." His smile lights up the room, and in that moment, I feel a profound shift within me. The new year rolls in, and with it, a sense of anticipation. I've started to think about the future again, about possibilities. Maybe it's time to start dating, to open my heart again. But this time, I'll be wiser, more cautious, because the stakes are higher. Not just my happiness, but Tommy's. Reflecting on the past months, I realize how far I've come, from the depths of betrayal and revenge to a place of stability and potential joy. It's been a journey of transformation, of hard-earned lessons about love, betrayal, and the power of forgiveness. Sitting in my living room, watching the snow gently fall outside, I feel a peace I haven't felt in a long time. I'm ready to close this chapter, to start anew, fortified by the trials I've overcome and enlightened by the mistakes I've made. As I jot down thoughts in my journal, a tentative blueprint for the future, I realize that this reckoning has been my salvation. It's brought clarity, purpose, and surprisingly, a measure of hope. Tommy's laughter echoes from the other room, pulling me from my reflections. I close the journal, my heart lighter, my path clear. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together, stronger and more connected than ever. This chapter is closing, but our story is far from over. It's just beginning, and I can't wait to see where it leads us. As I sit in my quiet living room, the soft glow of the morning light casting shadows on the wall, I reflect on the turbulent journey that brought me to this point of solitude and introspection. My eyes wander across the room, touching on the various objects that symbolize the life Tommy and I have rebuilt. Photographs of our adventures, drawings pinned on the fridge, small mementos of our healing and growing together. The past year has been a crucible, reshaping me, teaching me about the depths of betrayal and the heights of personal strength. My story, our story, is one of profound transformation, driven by the darkest moments one can endure, in a marriage and a fight for justice that consumed everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and vengeance. I lean back and take a deep breath, the air filling my lungs like a promise of continued survival and adaptation. I think about the man I was before, the trusting husband, blindsided by infidelity, fueled by rage into a dangerous pursuit of revenge. That man was consumed by the need to make things right at any cost, not realizing that the cost would be his own soul's peace. Now, as the dust settles and the wounds begin to scar over, I recognize the changes, not just in my environment, but deep within myself. I've learned the hard and brutal truth about what it means to forgive. Forgiveness wasn't a gift to Marie, or even a surrender to the man who threatened my family. It was a crucial step in freeing myself from a past that threatened to destroy my future with Tommy. The legal battles, the late-night plotting, the moment of confrontation, they all blur into a backdrop for the real story. A father and his son navigating the harsh realities of life's unpredictability and cruelty. Through this, Tommy has shown resilience that astounds me, his youthful innocence tempered by a maturity forced upon him too early. His recovery and adjustment to our new life have given me purpose and a path forward. Looking ahead, I think about the challenges we still face. The road has not been fully mended, and the scars of betrayal linger, informing my decisions and interactions. Trust is a fragile thing, once broken, and my future relationships will be colored by this hard-earned caution. Yet I find myself contemplating the possibility of love again, a testament to the human heart's capacity to heal and hope. Tommy's laughter echoes from his room, a sound that now fills the spaces of our home with joy and life. It reminds me that despite everything, we have found a way to thrive. We are moving forward together into a future that I hope holds less turmoil and more tranquility. I consider the lessons I want to pass on to him, the values of honesty, integrity, and the courage to face one's demons, not with vengeance, but with the strength to seek justice and foster forgiveness. These lessons form the foundation of the new chapter we are writing together, a narrative of overcoming and becoming. As I stand up, stretching out the stiffness of long contemplation, I walk over to the window, looking out at the world that continues unabated, indifferent to the struggles within my home. I feel a kinship with those who have walked similar paths, who have faced the darkness and found their way back to light. This story of mine, of ours, is not just a tale of a marriage broken and a man bent on revenge. It is a saga of redemption, of the transformative power of confronting one's darkest moments with the resolve to emerge stronger. It's about the daily decision to move past pain, to rebuild trust, not only in others but in oneself. And as I pen down these final thoughts in my journal, a record of pain and triumph, I leave a message for Tommy, for when he's old enough to understand the complexities of the adult heart. I write about the importance of facing life with courage, of not being defined by our worst experiences, but using them to sculpt a stronger, more compassionate self. Tomorrow, Tommy and I will start a new adventure, a road trip to places unknown, a symbolic journey mirroring our own path through the perils of the past year. It's a chance to bond, to heal fully, and to celebrate the life that we've managed to salvage and enrich through our trials. As the sun rises, casting golden hues across the room, I feel a peace settle over me, a confirmation that despite everything, we are okay. We are more than okay. We are better, stronger, and together. And with this knowledge, I am content to face whatever comes next, knowing that the worst is behind us and the best is yet to come.